laughing gas, nitro, N2O, NOS, nangs, whippets, hippie crack, buzz bombs and balloons. Today, we're talking about nitrous oxide. All right, so today we're going to be talking about the nitrous install on the Corvette. Majority of the work is done. There's still a couple of things that I have to do to tighten it up and get it ready. But I will run you guys through essentially, you know, what this is, what I had to do to get this done. So it all started at the back of the car. Don't mind it's dirty and space is majorly limited in this garage, so don't have a ton of room, but I started with the nitrous bottle and the braided line there. So ran that along the inside here, behind in the carpet. Ended up, I mean, this is obviously a work in progress, so it's a mess, but ran it inside the panel here, all the way down and through the firewall. There's a rubber grommet on the inside. That comes out here behind the battery posts, and ran to the nitrous solenoid. I got the purge solenoid set up there. That runs to the nitrous plate system inside there, and the fuel right there runs to your fuel rail, your service rail inside the motor. As far as electrical, I purchased a, I'm actually going to shut this beeping off this time, so before anybody freaks out. So I purchased the controller there, just the panel. What I had to do was run a switchable power source from inside there. Inside there is the TCM. So I found a blank spot and I added a fuse with a add-a-link. Ran power to the controller. From the controller, I ran wires out through the like I said, it's a mess, so don't worry about that. That's all getting cleaned up. Ran it through the firewall at my feet. From there to the two solenoids, fuel and nitrous, and then set up the purge. Oh, it's not, nothing's powered up right now. Set up the purge on that switch as well. It sounds a hell of a lot easier than it was. Just running that. Just running the braided hose through the firewall here took me quite a bit of time, a little bit of luck, some extra hands, that kind of stuff. The wires on the firewall on the driver's side, I got lucky. I took a coat hanger and stuck it through the grommet, and it came out in the engine compartment pretty much right where I wanted it to. So I was able to run all those wires in there. I loomed them up to protect them and kind of hide them as best as I could. So it's pretty straightforward. There is a relay that's wired into the system. I'm not going to get into the wiring. Every system wires up differently. So when you buy the kits, it typically comes with the wiring diagram. It's really easy to follow. You just need to spend a bit of time and look into it, read up on it a little bit. One of the other things that I did set up that is a power safe nitrous controller. So I don't know if that'll come on in accessory mode. So what it does is it's programmable. It wires into your throttle switch, your wide open throttle switch for your nitrous. So it only allows you to spray nitrous between a certain set point in RPM. So for my car, for instance, I chose to spray between 3,000 RPM and 5250 I think is what I got it set at, but I'll probably change all that stuff anyways later. It also, so outside of those RPM ranges, it will not allow you to spray. The other thing that it does as well is if your bottle pressure goes too high or too low, it won't allow you to spray. If you start spraying and everything's fine and you end up going lean or rich, it'll cut off nitrous as well. So definitely worth the money in my opinion. It's not expensive. I think it was $500 Canadian, so that's like, you know, I don't know, like $7 American or something like that. Definitely worth the money. I would highly suggest it. It can save you from a catastrophe, right? So an LS3 is about $8 or $9 grand to replace, so definitely worth the money. All right, so I am not a professional mechanic or anything like that. I don't have a shop. I'm doing almost all of my work in a crowded garage on a concrete floor. Thankfully, I do have a heater because it gets, you know, -40 out here during the winter time. So I had to take off my X pipe, which is there. So you can see the nuts and bolts right back here, right here. Had to take that off, unbolt it from the headers. That's where I punched the cats out. I had high flow Billy Boat exhaust cats. I just punched them out. And I installed my wideband right up there. Right there. So that's my wideband O2 sensor. There's, like I said, I don't have a lift here. So I'm a pretty big dude. Not a lot of room to get underneath there and get that off, but I managed to do it. Blowtorch is definitely your friend. Getting those rear clips off. So propane blowtorch, and yeah, it worked fine. It was definitely challenging though, but you got to have that O2. You got to have that wideband, and I didn't have anywhere to put it in front of the cats, so kind of tied my hands there. Cats had to come out. To install that, the PSN1, there was a couple things that I had to do. As mentioned, run the O2 wideband to it, which is not that hard. I ran it up through the tunnel for the transmission in the tunnel and ran it all through behind the dash. There's also a cable that goes down there that hooks up to my ProLink, so I can hook up my wideband to HP tuners. And then I have the pressure sensor switch that runs along the inside of the car, all in the rocker panel. Kind of mirrors the same as the hose, but on the other side, up and inside. Pretty straightforward. The RPM feature on the PSN1 was probably one of the hardest things to find out how to hook up, because there's no wiring diagram for your specific application. So you essentially have to just look online, see what you can find. I ended up getting lucky and finding out which wire it was underneath the dash. I had to take the whole speedometer and tack assembly out just to trace it, but ended up finding it. I got it in a decent spot. If you guys do want more information on that, I can show you. It's not a big job to get that out, and I can show you where I tapped into that. Right on. Well, that's it for today. Thank you very much for coming by. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe, ring the bell, all that good stuff, and we'll see you soon.
Decentralized, can't contain it. We're changing lives, yeah, upgrading. Call it suicide of the old make all the demons quiet. Yeah, we were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had